It is entirely possible that the Hazbin Hotel is not what we think it is. Largely within the Hazbin Hotel, we are told that it was a place that Charlie found in order to start, reforming souls and sending them to heaven. All of that is true for the most part in the series, however, it feels like there's some details left out on that. In particular, what the hotel was before. I mean, after all, it's not something we necessarily think about right away, but it might have a larger impact on the total of the story than we realize at first. Largely, I've come to this determination because upon viewing the series repeatedly, I started to notice very interesting details baked into the background of the hotel. Now, some people have pointed these out individually, but when you take them all together, it becomes fascinating. Now, the hotel itself is obviously based on like an old-timey 1920s to 1950 hotel, and that makes some sense. Some people have even compared it to like the Tower of Terror at Disney World. But what's especially interesting is that unlike hotels of that era, which tended to be very elegant and theming, there is elegance to the Hazbin, but it has a definitive circus theming. And I mean this too. You can see it all over the hotel, ranging from the horses that can be seen that are adorning corners of the walls, to the fact that the fireplace is flanked by 2 elephants on balls and then 2 skeletal lions. This is all very circus-based imagery, but it goes even farther. We can see that there are lions on one of the opposite walls that flank just like the horses, and then we even see circus tents on the stained glass doors of the hotel itself. Altogether, that combined with the wallpaper, which we can see the wallpaper in some shots is clearly an apple with wings, and then some kind of serpent and an eye, all leads us to believe that this hotel has a very definitive connection to Lucifer, because Lucifer in this series has a very heavy circus feeling. His whole outfit is that of a ringmaster. This might also very well tie into some of the other sins that we see in Hell of a Boss, as we are speculating that each of the sins is based off a circus performance. Beelzebub is based off of an animal tamer, Asmodeus is based off of a fire breather, and Mamma is obviously based off of a jester. But all of that together seems to have another indication here. We know that in the total story that was our prologue, at least in the first episode of Amazon, it is stated that Lilith could empower the demons of hell. I think it's very interesting that despite all the circus theming on this particular building, the one thing that stands out is the marquee that says "Now Playing." But that's not really a circus attribute. It's more an attribute that you'd see at a lounge or a movie theater. Now, Lilith was a performer. It's entirely possible that this hotel was a place that she performed at, as she seems to, in many of the concept art that we've seen for her, have a very lounge singer-esque style and design, very Jessica Rabbit. She has like a sparkly dress, the gloves, all of that taken together would seem to suggest she was a performer, and this could have been the place she did it from. It's especially interesting as in most designs, even preconceived sketches of the hotel, there was a radio broadcasting tower on the side of it, very similar to the one that we see that Alistair seems to affix to the hotel later. Now here's where we get really interesting, because if this was a place where Lucifer and Lilith performed, i.e. they had a lot of interactions with the denizens of hell, it stands to reason that there's a reason this place was closed down, and that could tie into why Lilith left. We know that it's had something to do with her empowering the citizens of hell, and then heaven decided that was too dangerous. Now, in Lucifer's song, "You're the Only Thing We're Fighting For," he states that he had a dream, but that dream became too dangerous to defend, and he had to give it up, and now Charlie is the only thing he's fighting for. This is especially interesting because it doesn't seem to refer to the apple and Eve. That was already pre-established, and there's no reference to it. It instead seems to convey that the Hazbin Hotel was used either for a purpose similar to what Charlie was doing, or for something else entirely designed to save hell. Either way, it seems to have a very definitive purpose, and then it was abandoned. After this seems to be when Lucifer seemed to have slipped further into his depression, and Lilith disappeared. Why was this purpose? Why was it abandoned? We don't know. More of that will probably be revealed in Season 2. However, there are very definitive clues that this building will have a much larger role. The final fact tied around this is the fact that it is stated that Charlie inherited her mother's will. That will is symbolized as a heart. The key to the hotel is a heart, and that is Kiki the cat. God, that is a lot of key in one sentence. But it is, I think, a very subtle foreshadowing and a very important clue that probably won't pay off for seasons to come, but was always there from the beginning. What do you think? Do you think the hotel served a very specific purpose? Do you think they were originally going to reform sinners? Or do you think they were doing something else with it? Leave a comment below to let me know.